Hey there, how are you today? My name is Dana Damara, and you have landed on Astrocast. And thank you so much for tuning in. This is your full moon report for the full moon in Capricorn on July 13th, happening at 11:38 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So those of you who have been listening for a while, thank you so much for tuning in. Those of you who have just begun listening and tuning in, thank you so much for being here. We have a beautiful full moon coming up here, and as you know, full moons tend to intensify and illuminate everything. It's when the sun and the moon are completely opposite of one another. And this full moon in the sign of Capricorn is everything about Capricorn. Discipline, following your path, your focus, your energy, step by step by step. Taking responsibility for what you've done the moments before the full moon and what is going to be happening or what you think will be happening after the full moon. You know, Capricorn is the sign of the goat, right? And so we have this energy of remembering to take our path one step at a time and being on our own path. Right. So I'm going to show you the picture in a moment. There's also a lot of numerology that's really powerful here. A lot of number 13s. I'll show you why in a moment. A lot of number 21s. 13 is all about the divine feminine and balancing with the sacred masculine. And then the number 21 is really about change, right? So I'm going to show all that to you where that shows up in the codes. And then, you know, one of the biggest things here is we have some energy with Pluto happening. And Pluto is all about empowerment. Pluto is about purging. Pluto is very particular about holding the line for you. And me. My moon sign is, or my rising sign is Capricorn. My moon sign is Taurus. And I've got 5 other planets in Virgo, so super earthy. This energy that's happening with the full moon isn't light by any means. Sometimes we come across a full moon that is really light and airy and filled with this, you know, love and connection. This one is not that. This one is all about grounding into those goals, setting your course with your intention, not anyone else's or anything that anyone else is asking you to do. Before I get off on a tangent, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So I talked a little bit about numerology. Okay. And the thing I want to say is this full moon happens at 21 degrees. The moon is at 21 degrees and the sun is at Capricorn, and the sun is 21 degrees Cancer. It's right across from each other. Another thing I want to just remind us here is this little guy that we call Mercury. And Mercury is within 4 degrees of the sun, which will make it pretty much almost opposite the moon. Okay, so that's one area of communication I'd like to go over with you guys. The other one is Pluto. So Pluto right here is sitting pretty close to the moon, which means it's opposite the sun. You see all those red lines, right? Going from up and down from the sun to the moon, from Pluto to Mercury to the sun. You know, that's intensification. So this is a really powerful energy. And because we've got the sun and the moon at 21 degrees, this is about, you know, our sensibility and our ability to connect and create things from a place of connection to our own path, our own. It's not about going out into the world and gathering our nuts and our ideas and our inspiration. We've done that. Now this is about intensifying that energy and really being in a creative mode. I talked a little bit about the number 13. So this full moon happens on the 13th. And we've also got the universal month of July is the number 13. I talked about this last week. You know, the number 13 is a very powerful number. 13, we have 13 lunations a year. We've got 13 weeks in a calendar season. 13 is about the divine feminine. In my humble opinion, I feel like this full moon is really about taking responsibility for the empowerment and the rising energy of the divine feminine. I talked a lot about this last week. The divine feminine is not some esoteric mythical character that's trying to merge her energies with the sacred masculine. It's an energy that lives within us, and it's an energy that is very obviously, completely obvious, trying to find a sense of empowerment and take a seat at the table of the multiverse, if you will. How does that relate to you? It's really simple. Allowing our energies and when I say our energies, I mean our focus, our attention, our awareness. I'm going to stop share for a moment. Our focus, our awareness, our intention, our devotions, our practices, our mindsets, where we put our focus is disciplined in a way that creates a sense of balance for ourselves and our lives. So when things aren't, when there's a big, this like, oh my gosh, this is such a struggle. I'm pushing, I'm trying hard to figure it out. Like that's not balancing the divine feminine and the sacred masculine within yourself. That's pushing. Sitting on the couch, not doing anything, or continuing to spin your wheels, that's not doing balancing the sacred masculine and divine feminine in yourself. It's really locating what is the passions that are living in your heart, where you feel like this is so important to me. This is my goal, my intention, my plan, if you will. And I'll get to that in a second. And disciplining your energy to stay focused. Okay. I want to talk about that. I don't want to forget that. I want to talk about the plans. We also have Uranus conjuncting the North Node at the end of the month. So everything I'm talking about here, as far as discipline, could go out the window at the end of the month. But I'll get back to that in a moment. So the other thing I want to talk about is with this moon and with this energy of Capricorn is all about taking responsibility. So taking responsibility for yourself, for your actions, for your words, for your thoughts, not looking outside of self, right? Confronting what isn't working and saying, you know what? I'm not going to spend my energy, my time, my focus on this anymore. This isn't working. Thank you so much for the lessons. And then moving on. Really embodying the skills of a goat, of being able to use those. I always go like this when hold on, it's just not my share. I always go like this when I talk about the goat, because I think about the little hooves that they have, and they have to like really dig into the ground and think about where they want to put their next step. That's this energy of this full moon. It's intense, right? So remember that every step counts. Every thought, every breath, every word, every step counts. Everything makes a difference. Okay. So be disciplined in where you put that next step, that next footprint. The moon is conjuncting Pluto, and I know it's not an exact conjunct. It's within, 5-6 degrees, but it's still close enough. Pluto is a super strong little critter. And then the sun is opposite Pluto. That just happens naturally, right? So this is going to intensify the feelings of purging, of letting go, of having to dig deep and face maybe uncomfortable conversations, or face old patterns. It just is, it can be so many different things, but Pluto, bottom line, is depth, and Pluto is empowerment. So we want to feel into the emotions. We want to use a sense of purging to empower ourselves. That's Pluto. And I always try to remember, because Pluto is a little little humdinger in my chart. I always try to remember that Pluto just wants what's best. Pluto's like, I know I'm small, but I'm small and mighty, and I just want what's best for you. And Pluto and Capricorn are like, forget it. Like, you can't put that energy underneath the rug. You have to be able to have that hard conversation, or, you know, cut the tie of relationships or ideas or people or whatever that just isn't working and just isn't really for you anymore. It's just time for that. And Pluto will make it so if you don't want to comply, not to worry. And then Sun opposite Pluto is about rebirth, right? So Pluto's like that rising phoenix. You know, if Pluto's like, let's get rid of this old stuff because I have this really great plan for you. Again, there's the word plan, or the phrase plan. So just be okay with things that start to fall away. And I know you know what they are. Like, we all have these things in our life where we're like, I'm trying to make this work. It's just not, I don't understand. Those things, like, let it go. Letting go, closing the doors. You know, it can be challenging to let things go. In yoga, we talk about this idea of letting go and having an attachment. Aparigraha is the single most root to all of our suffering, right? So as humans, we want everything to stay the same. We want people to stay the same. I can't seem to let go, but the paradox to that, the juxtaposition to that is, you know, when we let go, something else is available, and it's most likely something that we didn't plan for. There's that phrase again, the plan. The other thing I want to just amplify here is this little guy, Mercury. So we have Mercury, mostly anybody in astrology is very knowledgeable about Mercury because it goes into retrograde 3-4 times a year. Mercury is the planet of communication, of the lower mind, our day-to-day processes. So when the sun is conjuncting Mercury, it's really gives us a little bit of a zing to our intelligence or intellectual processing, right? It's like amplifying the way we do things, our strategies, if you will, clarity, if you will. So it'll give you a little amplified zinger on what you're doing. If you've been feeling scattered lately, when the sun and Mercury come together, it's like things just make a little bit more sense. Now with the moon opposite Mercury, remember the moon is the feminine and the sun is the masculine. So with the moon opposite Mercury, you're going to feel again this idea of wanting to purge things, wanting to clean things out, wanting to get tidy with your mind, with your spaces. Maybe there's something in the way that you're functioning on a day-to-day basis that just doesn't fulfill you or isn't really in the plan, so to speak. Now's the time. It'll get really clear, like, oh, I don't need to do that anymore. This is the planet of communication. So it will give you words that you need to speak a little bit clearer, maybe a little bit more mindfully. Maybe some clarity will come about or inspiration will come about on how to use your creative gifts. I think with both Pluto and Mercury so close to the sun and the moon, I think one thing that's really powerful to practice right now is your devotion to your meditation or your yoga practices or whatever you do. Maybe you just walk in nature twice a week, maybe amplify that. Maybe go 4 times a week. Maybe you surf, you get out into the water, you do some sort of commune with nature or with yourself or with a higher power. I think with these two planets, Mercury and Pluto, on the teeter-totter with the sun and the moon, I think it's really imperative to be like, amplify, just up level that meditation or whatever practices you use to stay in that higher vibratory frequency, so that you can really hear the messages as they're coming through and you're not distracted or confused. This moon, I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit of a heavy one, right? It is the second of 3 super full moons. That means the moon is closer to the earth than normal. So it's a, it's a dense, illuminating, potentially heavy, disciplined energy. It's not a bad thing. It just is what it is, right? And then August's full moon is also a super full moon. So we're being asked, I believe, to really hone in on what it is that not only we desire, but where we're falling short, where we're skimming the surface of our life. A couple other things are happening during this full moon, and I'll just show it to you on the chart. So we've got moon right here is actually trining Uranus, and that means it's the sun is sextiling Uranus. So again, Uranus is about freedom, liberation, higher mind thinking. So you may have these like flashes of insight, or you may want to really you'll start to feel a sense of like wanting to be free from something. I do want to talk about Uranus here in a moment. And then the sun trines Neptune, which means the moon sextiles Neptune. And that's going to increase your sensitivity to, maybe other people or the news, or just feeling, right? Your intuition, your psychic abilities. Again, think about that for just a second. So your intuition is increased, right? You've got this the beacons are turned up a little bit. You got the dial turned up. So you're a little bit more intuitive, a little more psychic. And then on the ground floor of your life, your day-to-day, you're asking for clarity. So those two, intuition and also day-to-day, Uranus and Mercury, when they can act together to help you to, I don't know how else to say it, except like reattune your body, your mind, and your heart. Like it'll bring you back to center. I'll share my screen just one more time. And then the moon and sun both are square to Chiron. Okay. And, let me see, where is Chiron? There he is. Look, Chiron here, it's 5 degrees off, which means it's not this super intense square, but Chiron has been in a lot of relationships with a lot of planets lately. And my feeling is that there is a deep sense of healing that wants to happen somewhere. And for those of you who were born in between 1968 and 1977, you're in your Chiron return. And so you've probably been up against some inspiring healing opportunities. And that's all I'll say there. One more thing, Venus, where's Venus? Here's Venus. Venus is trying to Saturn here. Okay. So Venus is, Venus is a lover. Venus is about what we value, what we hold near and dear to our hearts. It's about money, finances, financial flow, and love and intimacy. So whenever Venus has some sort of relationship with Saturn, it's time to get serious about, what you really want in that arena, and taking a look at what's in your scope as far as intimate relationships, financial flow, even what you're surrounding yourself with. What do you value? What's important? So just take a look at that with this full moon, because some of those things actually may be the things that are weighting you down that you don't really need anymore. And I'm going to do a special report on this Uranus North Node conjunction at the end of the month. But just know that when Uranus conjuncts the North Node, your North Node is about future karmic events, right? But everything is connected. We're in a little spiral. We're not like ding, ding, ding. Even though we've been taught that everything is linear, it's really not. It's a nice big spiral. So just know that whatever you're disciplining yourself for and planning for, use the energy of that grounding force of Mercury, right? And Capricorn. And these energies that are like very earthy, very day to day. And then the energies like Neptune and Uranus to really, tune in, listen in, pay attention to what's going on here and the sensitivity of your heart. Don't be distracted. There's a lot of things happening in the outside world. Okay. Don't let your channel go like ding, 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 ding. Because it's so easy. It's so easy. Sometimes I'll get on my phone and I start doing things on my phone and I'm like, oh my God, how am I even functioning this fast? How do I know where my apps are? It's like, and then in those moments, like put it down, go outside, touch the earth, get grounded, listen, do a little bit of breath work, and then come back. Because when this Uranus North Node conjuncts this is the theme. Expect the unexpected. Expect to throw any plan that you had out the door because something like amazingly great is going to be handed to you instead. I like Uranus conjunct the North Node. I think it's fun. That's all I have. I will do my best to get something out for that conjunction as it gets a little bit closer. In the meantime, if you want little videos about how to read your chart, how to find out what your sun, moon, and rising sign are, and why they're all important, just go to myastrocast.com. That's myastrocast.com. Put in your little email and you'll get some free videos from me. And if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please feel free to subscribe and also hit the little bell button, and then you'll get all the info delivered right to you when I update. So I want to say thank you so much. It's such a blessing to be able to share this information with you. I hope you have a gorgeous rest of your day, and reach out anytime with any questions. Take care now. Namaste.